Alright, what's going on, guys? So, I'm finally getting to the turkey feathers that I took out of my tom that I got last season. And I'm going to make a coming out of roost call, I guess you could call it. What I did is I took some flight feathers out of the wing of the tom, and I have some of the wider, shorter feathers that are in the back of the wing. And I picked up a 2-inch thick styrofoam plate that you can pick up at any arts and crafts store. And what I'm doing is setting them together in the styrofoam, and then I'm going to bind these together. And as you can see from the back view, it should look a little something like that, to where it looks like the wing when it's in flight. And what I'm going to be doing with this is simulating a turkey coming out of roost in the morning, pretty much wherever you're going to be set up. For us, we set up on the edge of the field, and we usually have thickets around us or little bushes, and pretty much you just wave it like you would a fan, or the turkey does, to fly. And if you have something next to you to rasp it on the brush, you can do that as well. I actually got this idea from a hunting show that I had seen last season. Before I got my tom, seemed like a good idea. Figured, what the hell, I'll give it a try. Anything that you can really have at your disposal of mimicking what a turkey does is going to up your chances of being successful while you're out hunting. So that's the first part of this video. Now, to get to the second part, for Mr. Tex Grebner, I saw your turkey prep video number 2, where you got the styrofoam hen call. We actually have a couple of those decoys. Depending on how you want to set up in the morning, we'll take 1 or 2 of them out with us, so they do work. It's all, again, personal preference, how much money that you're looking to spend or that you have to spend for your turkey season. As far as for your hand call, I'm just going to help you out here. When you were striking your hand call on the video, you were holding the striker up here. You're going to want to hold it down almost like a pen or a pencil when you're writing, because essentially when you call, you are pretty much writing on your call. And when you hold it in your hand, you don't want to hold it flat like this, because the sound chambers are on the bottom of the call. So you want to hold it with your fingertips on the side of the call, allowing space for the sound to travel. And then with your other hand, either rest it up against the side of the call or against your finger, to where the only thing that's making contact with the surface of the call is the tip of the striker. As far as for calling, another thing, when we were at the Sportsman show yesterday, and I found that, you've even been guilty of this, when you get out and you set up, you don't want to be really loud and aggressive in your calling. You see that and it sounds like that in a lot of the hunting shows, but that's also a professional crew, professional cameras. Usually every hunter will have a mic on their person, so when you're calling, it's going to sound a lot louder than it is. When you first get out and it's daybreak, or when you start calling, you want to be really soft in your calls and pretty much just doing, some clucks as a hen would do, waking up, still on the branch in the tree, checking it out, making sure if it's all safe and good to come down out of the roost. To do a purr or a cluck, you can either go straight down or at an angle. The difference in tone is going to depend on the amount of pressure that you apply from the striker to the surface of your call. And that's pretty much a simple purr. You can add your own little takes to it. I'm not trying to be a professional caller or seem like I am, because trust me, I'm not. I'm just trying to help you out. One thing that I've even found that I'm guilty of again is when you're doing some calls such as this one. When you're done and you want to continue to call again, you can go to the left or to the right. One thing I found is I would call, stop, pick up, and place back where I started. And of course, that sound is not a sound that a turkey makes. So pretty much just get used to it. I heard that you weren't familiar with a mouth call. I've never used a mouth call until before I picked up these primos calls, and I've got the hang of it to where now I feel confident enough to use the diaphragm mouth call. So don't sell yourself short by thinking that you don't have the ability to use one. You do. It just takes a little bit of practice. Would definitely recommend for you to give that a shot. Also, with the striker head, there's little fragments of the glass from scuffing it after using it to call that'll embed itself into the tip of your striker. You just want to take a fine grit sandpaper, and you're good to go. It's done. You want to do that at least a couple times, especially if you're calling a lot, just to keep the striker tip clean, to produce the same sound every time that you're calling. Also, with your box striker that I saw, and another awesome tip that we picked up in the seminar that we attended at the Sportsman show yesterday, there's little green pieces of wool that you may have seen with some calls. I'll find mine so I can show that in another video for you. With your box call, when you use the chalk to put the chalk on the call, the same thing with a glass or a slate call. If you touch it, oh, my hands aren't sweaty or anything, but now I have body oil that's on the surface of that call, which is not going to produce the sound that I want it to. So when you hold your chalk for your box call, say if this is a stick of chalk, you want to hold it by the ends and apply the chalk that way, to where that way it's just chalk to the wood striker of your box call. And also the same as the wooden tip of a slate or a glass call, you just want to lightly take that piece of green wool and go along the edges of the box, the edges of the striker, and the surface. But again, same as a hand, glass, or slate call. When you're doing this, you want to go with the wood grain, not across it, because that'll ruin, not really ruin the call, but it'll ruin the sound that the call was meant to produce. So these are just some helpful hints that we picked up yesterday during Primo seminar that they put on at the show. It was an awesome, fun time. Glad to share it with you guys. Tex, hopefully this works out for you. With that said, I'm not going to make this any longer. I'm going to go ahead and cut it off. Be safe, have fun. Catch you guys later.